Mr. Speaker, when I was filling in, I forgot to add higher vehicles of about 17 million, which are not part of that report. I apologize. I remembered after I had submitted the questionnaire.
Welcome back to Havana Media. My name is Boniface Owino, and as usual, I'm going to be your host for today. Now, it is going to be very tough. It has started. Today, the vetting of the nominated CSs have just begun, and it started with the former CS of Interior, that is Kindiki, who, and the vetting is going on at the City Hall. What is surprising is that, it is better you be nominated into a different docket from where you are, other than being fired and then be nominated again, the same docket where you are in, especially if bad things, or especially if you failed, if people felt like if you are a failure initially. Kindiki was the former CS of Interior. And it happened that during the demonstrations, Kindiki was nowhere to be found. There is nothing that he was saying. He was very silent. Now today, during the vetting, there are a lot of questions that he has been asked. Number one question that Kindiki was asked by, that is Suna Member of Parliament, that is Junet Mohammed, the incoming minority leader. Junet Mohammed asked Kindiki this, that you are the former CS of Interior, and a lot of things happened. People didn't feel you. Your presence was not even being heard. It was not being felt. A lot of things were happening. Police shot people. During the demonstration, you were supposed to take care of people. But then what happened is that you did not do your work as the Constitution says, or as people expected. Now, what makes you think that you are fit to come back to this position once again? I want us to listen to this question and the way he answered it. Listen to this.
What do you think makes you feel that you can serve in that docket again? Because why I'm asking that question is because if you look at what happened in the last 2 months in this country, the demonstrations and the kind of thing that happened, in my view, you look like somebody who was lost. Your presence was not being felt. Your omnipresence was not being felt, if I may say so, because you could see abductions were happening, human rights abuses were happening, but the minister's voice was not being heard in that situation. What do you think, what makes you think that you can serve again in the same docket? But the next question is that you have also seen widely, you have been widely accused the last 2 months or the last 1 year that you've presided over human rights abuses from time you've been appointed CS till last month. Particularly what happened, for example, on 25th of July 2024. And also during the Azimio demonstrations last year. More than 75 Kenyans lost their lives. And last month also, more than 50 Kenyans lost their lives. So there's a feeling that the National Police response to protest is stuck in the old way of doing things. So the question is, to what extent do you think ministerial responsibility for the brutality meted on Kenyans by security organs? At what level do you think you can take responsibility for that? What new ways are you going now to do to stop that? So my question is, in spite of all these abuses that have happened, in spite of all the problems that Kenyans have encountered, what is this new idea that you will employ this time if you are approved by this House? Because one of the things we are looking at, Chairman, is the suitability of the person to hold that office. What makes you think you are suitable in spite of all those problems that you have encountered the last 2 months? Thank you, Chair.
Professor, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable members. I was in office for 21 months, 623 days. I can account for each and every day of my stay in office. I woke up every day, and my focus has been to ensure that our country is safe. I have risen before dawn, every day including Sundays, and gone to sleep very late, simply because of the demands of our homeland security.
He was asked this question, that you give instructions to the police, you call the press briefing, you wear police uniform, you do everything, but now when it comes to police brutality, whereby now the police are harassing people and you're supposed to talk on behalf of the police, you are saying that police is an independent body.
You've tried to explain the donning of the uniform, the police uniform. What surprises me, Prof, is that you give instructions to police, you give press conferences, you are adorned in the uniform of the police. But when it comes to the crimes committed against humanity by the police, that's where you say the police are independent. How independent is your uniform?
It is unfortunate that during a recent protest, we witnessed the death of 42 Kenyans. We also had injuries, 486 civilians and 385 police officers were injured. We had about 1,387 arrests. We had 54 police cars destroyed and 110 motor vehicles belonging to the people of Kenya also destroyed in those protests. And therefore, I want to submit as follows: that the operational responsibility of policing lies with the command of the National Police Service. It is my estimation that on a broader scale of things, generally, the police tried their best to protect the country against mobs of criminals, arsonists, and other dangerous people, including those who visited Parliament and wanted to kill parliamentarians and other people. The police did their best.
What is your say? You know, this guy was on fire, by the way. This guy was, if there is someone that has felt it, is Kithure Kindiki. Now, what is surprising, you know, in as much as, you know, sometimes we say that these guys are not corrupt. That, oh, corruption is not there. They defend themselves by saying that they are not corrupt. What they're doing, they're just doing the right thing. They are getting their money in the right, in a right way. But here, let us take a look at this. This guy's net worth was 544 before he was appointed, or before he came into the office at the CS of Interior, Internal Security. Now, within a span of 2 years, this guy's net worth increased by 150 million, which brings it to 694. That was an increase of net worth by 20%. No, and then he complicates things by saying that he's a lawyer and he has a law firm. He has been running a law firm even before he was appointed. So at the end of the day, his firm is still going on, and that money has come as a result of the people that are working in his farm bringing him money.
I have also been asked about my wealth, which has increased from 544 million to 694 million. It is true because First, let me start by saying that I have not benefited from any improper business. I have not done any business with government. Let's start from there. I have not applied for any tender by myself, by proxy, by relative, or by anybody. Mr. Speaker, before I was appointed, my wealth was at 544 million. I said at that time, which I still do now, that I have run a business, which today I do not participate in that business. I don't practice law, but my law firm is alive and working, and much of that revenue has actually come through the revenue from my law firm, which is still active but being managed by other people. I think all my salary and allowances have been spent in paying bills. Therefore,
What is your worth?
694 million.
Made of?
Made of I have two homes, one in Nairobi and one in Tharaka Nithi. Then I have landed buildings, about 235 million. My two homes are worth 190 million. And then I also have savings in SACCOs and banks. I also do legal practice, so I have a bit of revenue that I've generated through my law firm, and that is it. And I forgot, Mr. Speaker, when I was filling in, I forgot to add, I have vehicles of about 17 million, which are not part of that report. I apologize. I remembered after I had submitted the questionnaire.
Professor Kindiki, in the recent past in this demonstration, two young men, Michael Kihunga Nyagodie and another young man called Kevin Maganga, were shot dead in Nakuru. The family has been trying to get some information from IPOA. It is alleged that the IPOA is not receiving required information from the police service. This has posed a great challenge to IPOA executing its oversight mandate. If approved for this appointment, Honorable Kindiki, what steps will you take to ensure that the two institutions work seamlessly for the benefit of Kenyans? And secondly, how will you strengthen IPOA so as to execute its mandate? Second, the Honorable Chair is about urban criminal gang activities. In the urban areas, particularly in Nakuru, a criminal gang called Confirm, which by what the citizens claim has brought about 5 deaths in every month and hundreds of injuries. Maybe if you're approved and confirmed, what are the steps that you will take to reduce the increase of criminal activities in urban areas and particularly in Nakuru, specifically the confirmed criminal gang? Thank you, Chair.
Professor?
Mr. Speaker, on the first issue, the relationship between IPOA and the National Police Service is an ongoing conversation, and it's not unusual. It happens all over the world that the police and the bodies oversight them have normal institutional tensions. We have, during our tenure in office, we have encouraged these institutions to work together because each one of them is playing an important role. It is the same problem we had between the police service and the Police Service Commission, and we did a lot of work and around that, and were able to get a and win-win situation where the commission and the police service are working together. So we'll apply the same methods if we are reappointed to make sure that IPOA gets the support it requires from the NPS. And going forward, we will support IPOA in terms of more resources, more capacity, but also just brokering the institutional goodwill between themselves and the police. The second question, Mr. Speaker, is on the criminal gangs. It is true. We have had a gang in Nakuru known as Confirm. And urban crime is a major issue. When I took over as CS for Interior, October 2022, there was a lot of gang violence and gang crime in Nairobi. We've been able to reduce and suppress the Nairobi urban criminal activity significantly. We hope that the Nakuru matter could also be resolved. And before I was dismissed from office, I had a meeting with the leaders of Nakuru County, and we had agreed that according to the feedback the leaders gave us, we needed to change the command, because sometimes many of these performance issues are based on the right command. So we are going to work on it to ensure that we eliminate that gang and other urban gangs in Mombasa and a few other towns that are suffering the same.
Now, I've been asking myself this question. Kithure Kindiki had got a farm, which we don't know how, when it started, but he had got a law firm. All the years, this law firm could have not even made 100 million within a span of 5 years as profit. Kithure Kindiki is telling us right now that within a span of 2 years, his law firm has made 150 million profit, unlike other years. And yet, he's saying that he has not taken government's money. He is clean. He cannot be blamed. You were asked during the protest, after realizing that now the Gen Zs were protecting, and now the goons are joining the Gen Zs, you decided to involve KDF. Why did you involve KDF? Yet we know that KDF are supposed to stay in barracks. And then you give an answer by saying that KDF was the only option to deal with the criminals. This term criminal has been used all over again. Kithure Kindiki has been using it. William Ruto has been using it. So I really don't know if the Gen Zs are criminals. But at the end of the day, I really don't know, because the way things are, I don't see if some people will qualify. I don't see if some people will pass through this vetting. I don't want to mention names, but let us just wait and see. Let us wait and see the four nominated, the nominated CSS. We know them. We know them. It is going to be tough. Aden Duale is there. Soipan Tuya is there. Ali Hassan Joho is there. Wanda is there. Oparanya is there. John Bad is there. Let us wait. Let us wait and see the outcome after the vetting. Let me know what you think at the comment section. Just a reminder, if you're meeting for the first time, please don't forget to click the subscribe button. You can also like and share and drop me a comment and tell me what you think and where you are. Until we meet again in the next video, if it is possible, I've been your host, Boniface Awino. Bye-bye.